laser. Laser, laser. It's not a taser. Tonight, I wanna laser you tonight. 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 Laser, laser. Laser, laser. It's not a taser. Tonight, I wanna laser you tonight.
Is this not the most, like, high school thing y'all have ever seen? I listened to this song way too much on the stream that I used it as the intro, because I just took a super long time fiddling with the audio. So I have it in the vault now. It's in the brain. I thought people might need a little reminder on what the hell do the sauce is. And it's not do the SOS. No, no, no. That capitalization is how it is. This right here is how it is. It's how it's listed. No, none of these pictures are me. Some of them kind of do look a little bit like me when I was younger. But no, this is clearly just somebody's weird high school project, I feel like. Right? That's gotta be just like this dude's friends in the background, and it's probably him singing. And also in the middle, next to random letters. And the fact that there's random letters, that feels like a programming project for like ActionScript or whatever. Or what is it called? I think it's called ActionScript in Flash. How did No Simp September go? It went pretty good. Oh, I'm actually, I'm recording right now. I'm gonna stop recording because I'm getting bad frames from my computer. I know we're, on spreadsheet mode, but I'm actually gonna show some games today to refresh my memory. Oh, that's very interesting. The bad frames aren't going away. Give me just one mo. That kind of sucks. I mean, of course you can't notice. Is my mouse stuttering around the screen right now? I guess I'm still at 60 frames per second. It's just my kilobytes per second are kind of squeezed right now. Whatever. But yeah, that was Do the Sauce. So I'm gonna review more Flash games. I did about half of them last time. I've actually thinned out the list a little bit. Now there's slightly less than 400. Last time there were 400, yeah. And I've also added Dino Run, which was the one game that I played last time. But yeah, I'm just gonna go through the rest of these. I went through and made a new category for animation, because some things here are just outright animations, and some of them are barely interactive whatsoever, Some of them are like just barely not in animation, but I will be rating them as games, as weird as that seems. Give me 1 single second here. Okay. So, Do the Sauce is an animation, of course. I guess I can still review them. It's fine. It's kind of memey. It's kind of cute. It reminds me of stupid things I would do in Flash in high school. Although I wouldn't really use many like real pictures. That is one thing that I probably wouldn't use very much. I'll show off my own Flash animations at a certain point. I was a fan of like the vector art style, as were a lot of other Flash people, I think. Where is the elephant? Elephant. This is meme. This is meme game. This is the one where he goes, "Can you find him?" And he plays and he plays the horrible harmonica. And it's really loud. It's a really simple game. This one's like barely a meme game. Sometimes like a game attempts to be a meme game and then it just ends up being not fun or funny at all. This one got a giggle out of me, mate. Have I played Intrusion? I don't think I have. I will play Intrusion 2 on normal stream at some point. Because man, that game's jank as hell. You can ride wolves and the wolves don't give a fuck, man. Yeah, believe it or not, chat, this is not every single Flash game ever. I still have a few to go. No, there's like tens of thousands. But this is a lot of the significant ones and a lot of the insignificant ones too. Like this whole stream was just like whack. Which, by the way, to those who don't know, the colors, I took out the YouTube links that were here that made it a little more clear, but the colors, the rainbow color sorting here is just to indicate which stream these were done on. Oh, my internet has fixed. Yay. God bless us all. Someone put I'm getting a lot of questions about games I've played. I'm gonna put in the chat command, go to that Google Docs link, and then at the top of that sheet, there's a separate spreadsheet that has all the Flash games listed. So if you have questions about which ones I've played. But for the record, yes, I have done Learn to Fly and Run 3. Elephant Rave's Slowdown remix. So this is a classic Flash game move where there's 3 different versions of the game. I think Elephant Rave is the original, and it's kind of fun. You know what? I'm gonna give this one a sure just because I know Elephant Rave HD exists, which I think is just in like 16:9 rather than 4:3 and has better graphics. But it's another JMBT02 game or whatever his name is. You play as the little elephant, you move around, and there's rave music, and little beams of light come down from the ceiling in time with the music. It is basically fine. Real game, first real game status. And then Slowdown Remix is literally just the game, but slower. Like fucking, huh? But alright, sure. See, I'm saying sure, but I'm also giving this one real game. Elephant Rave is now obsolete, though, because Elephant Rave HD exists. That's the thing about HD editions with Flash games. There's no exclusivity, for the most part. Okay, Wild Wild Wrist. She wants a wild, wild wrist. Whoa. I'm looking this up because I barely remember this one. I remember it was like a hand. It was a giant hand on like a crumbling landscape. That's really all I remember. It was like a very short... There was a game that I reviewed earlier that was called like It's Such a Beautiful Day or something like that. It's a Nice Day Today. And I rated it as meme, but really it's like, it was like barely one step away from being just completely just an animation. It was like barely interactive, and I think Wild Wild Wrist is the same. Oh, one of my lovely mods made a Flash Games command. So ! Flash Games, all one word. Links to the Flash Games list. Well, thank you. I didn't even think to do that. So I just got it down here in the corner. I know it's not centered amazingly. I just want to briefly refresh my memory on what the hell this is. Yeah, there's a giant hand. There is a score. Yeah, okay. And you just do this. Okay. So this is a game. This is a game. It's not just like barely interactive like I thought it was. But this is it. This is the entire game. So, gee whiz. It's like, I wish it was a little more complex, because I kind of like the weird style. It's kind of like Hylix, I guess, with the hands. In fact, is this made by the person who made Hylix? Because I wouldn't be surprised. Because that's a very specific, like, gimmick. But, okay. That was Wild Wild Wrist. I'm gonna give that a sure. Whatever. It's, like, got cool enough style, but it's just, like... Yeah, it's just this one single basic gameplay loop over and over. Maybe it gets more complicated? I kind of doubt it. So wild. Okay, the super awesome game. This was a joke animation disguised as a game, which I guess is kind of unique, but it was just like a loading bar that went on for a really long time, and then I think when it was 100% loaded, it just said you won or some shit like that. Cute, funny, whatever. It was kind of a lame joke, honestly, sitting through the whole thing. Monkey Panda Magic. I want to refresh my memory on this one too. This one is also really basic, and somebody in the comments of the VOD, they posited that this might have been a baby monkey hate game, which I forgot was a thing. But it's like you click on the pandas or something. No, you don't even do anything? I thought you like click on shit and then it like a little blood splatter appears. No? I can't do anything. But you guys remember, I'm just gonna wait for a sec. Maybe moving? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh right, it like auto moves. So yeah, there's these little baby monkeys and then it's like, is that supposed to be blood? There's like little red squares appear. Also, I barely have to move, because he just automatically zones in on shit. But I don't know, this is like a little like lesson in like internet history, I guess. Right around the time minion hate was becoming a popular thing, and I don't even know if this is an example of it, but right around the time minion hate was becoming a thing where everybody was like, hey, you know what? I think it should be fine to talk about how much everyone hates minions. And everyone else was like, oh my god, yes! Like, can we talk about this, please? There were like a million other little tiny groups that were like, oh, now hating things is a personality trait. Now my like spiteful ass can finally function in society or whatever. And some people, I guess, just have a really adverse reaction to baby monkeys. They just don't like them. Which I don't know if that's like, it's like Unga Bunga hate brain trying to like comprehend like the uncanny valley or something like that. There's certainly uglier animals out there than baby monkeys. They're a little like weird and creepy looking. But is it like oh, it's the uncanny valley, but I don't know what that means, so I just think I really hate baby monkeys or something like that? I don't know. This game is not even, I mean, it's not even fun. It's barely even playable. You barely have any input, and it's like not even functional, and I can't even tell what's happening. So no. And that's not just because it might be a game about hating adorable baby monkeys. I, for the record, think they're adorable, but whatever. It was also just dumb. Booba TV, this is like meme gold. This was one where I made a video out of it. A full main channel video. Because it was just so good. This is like sort of along the same lines as 2008.pumpkin.com or whatever. I think that's what it's called, something like that. It's made for like little tiny babies who don't fucking understand anything, and it's just this very surreal, strange world for you to explore of Booba, which is like a Teletubbies-esque kids show that I never watched when I was younger, but it's very creepy and weird and surreal. Makes you feel fucking haunted. I think at the end, I'm gonna like sort them by the rating. I guess that wouldn't really work because I've had all these stupid like say no, nothing, real ass games. I guess I couldn't really do that. I could sort them by like color, I guess. Or I could just go through and pick out all the godlike ones because that's all I really care about. But I kind of want this to be, and I'll link this in the description of the VOD. For any review stream, I'll link the review spreadsheet. Oh, True Ass is gone. Hold on, what did we have that? We had that as like dark brown. It was like poopy brown. That's like blood in your stool brown. Let's go with that. But my intent is for this to be kind of a way for people who want to go back to Flash games, maybe people who get Flashpoint Infinity or something like that, which is free, by the way, and very convenient. But I want them to be able to use this as a resource to know what the good games are, basically, and what the funny ones are. So maybe if there's any like streamers out there, this could be like the perfect resource for how to get those like quality meme games for streaming. Someone said, I'm watching an ad right now, but I'm happy to be here. Thanks for coming. Sim City. This was like a joke game, but it wasn't really funny. It was like, oh, you're sitting at a computer playing a simulator. I feel like that's a joke that's been done before and better. Maybe it came up, I'm sure there's some like simulator game where you're just sitting at a computer screen playing a simulator, right? That's in like Unity, that's better than this. It was just trash. It wasn't functional. It would have been amazing if it was actually a completely functional SimCity emulator, but it was just like a JPEG. Police Bike. I remember this one. I remember it being, I don't know, it looked weird. It was another one that used like real pictures. But I also remember that being barely playable because it was just like super, super fast, and I think there was like no fail state or some shit like that. Actually, there might have been a fail state. It certainly didn't leave a big impression on me of being actually enjoyable. Pico's Medieval Quest. This one was... listen, I guess if you're a streamer, go into Pico's Medieval Quest completely blind. It is a experience similar to watching... I don't know, Casablanca or Citizen Kane for the first time. Just truly beautiful. No, but for real though, this is the one where it fucking starts out looking like a real game and then it fucking like flashes rainbow colors and the Fairly Odd Parents theme with little JPEGs. It truly caught me off guard. This is one where it's like a really sloppy, like low polished meme game, but it actually works. It was actually funny. Anyway, Rubbery Racers. I'm gonna give this one a sure. Isn't this made by... It's made by Twinbeard, who like makes something else. They like made something else that's like huge. Hold on. I'm sure chat will say, but I'm already Googling it. Frog Fractions. This is by the same guy who made Frog Fractions. And it looks really crusty. It's like SNES Mario Kart sprites with like shitty Photoshop JPEGs, and it's basically like a tech demo type thing or a joke about rubber banding in kart driving games or in racing games in general. It's actually kind of satisfying to play though. You get to like new guys like appear attached to you by like a tether, and you can swing them around, and they like explode when they hit the wall. And you know what? It is basically fun to play, as little content as there is. So I'm giving that a sure. Tentatively. It's like there's almost no gameplay though, so you'll play it for like 5 minutes tops. Futility Pong? Sure. I'd believe that. Getting Tipsy with Dipshit. This is a very unique game. See, like stuff like this and the super awesome game, even if I'm not like the biggest fan of them, I do appreciate these games for being, they're sort of like avant-garde art, you know? Where it's like, it's so different from the format of what we normally consider to be a Flash game. This is basically just an interactive animation that pauses itself every once in a while and asks if you want to continue. And it's just Dipsy from Teletubbies. I almost said Tinky Winkies. That's not it. It's just him taking shots over and over again and going gloom, 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 and he like taps it on the table. And for the record, I've actually played this game the way it was intended, which is it's just a way of taking shots, and in that purpose, it was effective. It was an effective game at getting you to drink shots of alcohol. That's it. It's almost a meme game. I don't know. I don't know. Other ones later, like Kermit Combat, will certainly be meme games, but that one is on the fence. Because it's just like telling you to drink, basically. And then at a certain point, he pees out of the thing on his head. And you're like, oh, great. Gas. This was another one that was like, this one truly, I don't think, had any points or anything. And it was just like weird little blobs moving around on the screen, and you like click on them and they explode. Sure. No, actually, it looked cool. If it was an animation, I'd be fine with just putting it down as animation, but no, it's slightly interactive. I'm gonna go with no. It was just nothing. I don't know. It just felt like an animation test or demo. Fine, I guess. I remember the actual the art looked kind of cool, but I wish it had more substance. Compasses. This was just a cool little tech demo. Again, like things like this and the boxofchocolates.com series. They're gonna be so hard to rank, but I'm just gonna be brutally honest. Like, I enjoy a lot of these things, like compasses and gas and color flip and broken self and Lady Chomp and shit like that. I appreciate them as like interactive art, but this is a list for games and like shit like that where there's really nothing to do. There's not a lot of depth to it. I'm not going to give a lot of them a pass. However, compasses, it's fun to mess around with. It's almost like a powder toy type thing, where you can change the properties of the compasses and how like sensitive they are or how much friction there is, and you can change the number of them. It's actually fun to mess around with for more than like 2 seconds, like these other ones, or unlike a lot of these other ones, rather. So sure, whatever. Sudden Problem, I genuinely don't even remember. I was kind of hoping I would remember every single Flash game, but I need to look up Sudden Problem. Oh, it's not even on here? Shit, I'm gonna need to look at the VOD. Hold on, guys, I need to go look at the VOD for this. Because I genuinely don't remember. I think it was this and Slow Saitama are both, I think, like weird animations that are barely interactive. If I recall correctly. Sorry, I'm just gonna look through. Oh, this is good. I'm getting a look at all the other ones we've been rating. Right, the some of these I'm having difficulty remembering, like the Sim Simulator or whatever. There were pee, hunger, and fun meters. And I think there was like a broken combination. You can like eat Doritos, drink Mountain Dew, and take a bathroom break. And there was like a broken combination that you could just mash and get, just win forever, permanently, without any effort, basically. But Compass is like a fun little toy, I guess. Oh, right, Sudden Problem was... It was this weird, like, animation with, Oh, right. I think what I thought was Slow Saitama is Sudden Problem. I get it now. It all makes sense. So Sudden Problem is a no, is an absolute no. It was like Japanese ASCII characters or whatever. And it was like there's a little row of them at the end, and if you mouse over them, the little animation loops or whatever. It's like, again, barely interactive, not even really entertaining. I don't know. I don't speak Japanese, so I didn't know. I didn't know what they said. Just taking off my headphones here. Adjusting my seating arrangement. Slow Saitama. This was, can we watch Slow Saitama? Is that on here? Nope. These have both been removed. Maybe they're in animations. Oh, they totally are. Hold on. Yes, we can actually watch both of these if we really want to. Because I need a true memory refresher. That was something that was different in the old version of Flashpoint. So this is Sudden Problem. Cute music. I don't know what the fuck they saying. And that's it. And then this is the interactive part that I was talking about. That's it. That's the only game part. It's like basically an animation. I'm being a twat not calling this an animation. I think that or Slow Saitama get the award for like most forgettable game I've ever streamed. Maybe not. Reveal the Deep. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, that was kind of a poopy game. And then this is Slow Saitama, and all I remember about this one is there's like a voice clip that goes, Slow Saitama, or something like that. There it is. And I think that's it. Yep. This is literally an animation. This is not a game. I need to change the category for this. Saitama. Legend has it if you let it loop 6,000 times, it actually it plays a sound clip of Wario going, sorry! Animation. Finished. Fucking finished. Come on. Okay. I Love You Like a Fat Lady Loves Apples. This one was the one where it's like a weird drawing of a lady at a table, and she has like weirdly good arm physics, and you can grab apples that are thrown at you and you can eat them. This is a good meme game. It's also one of those ones that's just an interactive animation. But it was actually well drawn, well programmed, and kind of funny. And it had like a weird style. So sure, yeah, meme. That's a good meme game. Saitama. Anyway, Balloon Man. Fuck me. I don't remember this one either. I swear, these are gonna be some of the only ones I don't actually remember. Balloon Man. Oh, what the actual fuck? I feel like I didn't even play this. No, I definitely did not play this. Oh no, didn't I? I think I might have actually. No, I think I did. Cause I was like, this is that one song. This is oh, even the cube destroys you. Oh god. I was like, this is that one jazz song, that one like famous one. But like discount version. I think I played this one. You know what? This takes the award for most forgettable one, because I truly did not remember this at all. Like really in the slightest. Except for the music. Oh, look at the terribly looping snow animation. Look at that! Oh my god, it's just a JPEG that moves down and then it goes back up to the top of the screen and they didn't make a duplicate of it. Oh my god, how embarrassing. How embarrassing. How fucking embarrassing. I'm gonna search Balloon Man on animations just in case. No. It really was that. God damn, I really don't remember that at all. But, sure, this is a no. This is a no from me, fam. Why did I play that? I feel like that was the wrong game. I almost feel like I just, like, rated that as the wrong game. I don't know, I'm not too crazy about everything being super accurate, but I take that one with a grain of salt. Colorflip.com. I'm just gonna say sure for these because actually Broken Self kind of sucks. These are just like little interactive things that are like a neat little piece of interactive art that you can fuck around with for a little while and then move on with your life. Colorflip and Later Chomp are actually really well programmed in my opinion, and actually have like artistic value. Broken Self is artsy trash and really abrasive and badly animated, so there's my real rating of these fucking like stupid bit websites. Clicker version 2.0. This one was garbage. This was like, it was kind of like do not press the red button, where it's just a series of dialogues, and it was terribly made. It was clearly made by like a 13-year-old or some shit. I'm sure it was very funny to whoever made it and their friends, but it was just trash. And then the true holy grail. I almost want to call this one godlike just as like a joke. But no, this is one of the best meme games I've ever found, and it was just like a random find. I guess it just so happened to be the last one I played. Maybe it was like I played it and then I was like, we're not going to top that. But this is another one it's similar in format to something like Clicker or Getting Tipsy with Dipshit, where it's just an animation that basically asks you to keep playing it at certain points. But this was so fucking funny. It's like a nonsense game. And I feel like even back in the day, it was trying to be like nonsensical, but translating that to modern times, along with like the low fidelity of it and the like relative amateurishness of it, it made it truly hilarious, and it really like nostalgic for the sort of things that I would make. Although I never made anything this fucking funny. And it's all about beating the shit out of Kermit. This is the Citizen Kane of games where you kick the shit out of Kermit. And yeah, I will eventually play more games by that guy because he's made a bunch. And a lot of animations, so we'll see. But yeah, so if there's like streamers out there, all the pink games get my recommendation as like, they're actually kind of funny. Some of them are on the edge, like Vegetable Game and Meaty Boner. I guess some of them are kind of like on the fringe, but for the most part, I want this to be a good resource for people. I'm like a Flash game archivist, I guess. Super Meat Boy Kavanaugh version. This was a demo that Terry Kavanaugh made for Edmund McMillan. I think he like used something like a modified V engine or something like that to make just approximations of what he wanted his levels to look like. It's a brief glimpse into a world where Super Meat Boy was made by Terry Kavanaugh, because he like kind of brought his own style to it. And it's a bit extra. It's a bit fucking extra, Terry Kavanaugh, to do this just rather than just making some fucking sketches, but whatever. There's no objective, there's no hazards, I think, even, or if there are, you just always get teleported back to the beginning, and it's like 4 rooms. It's really not that enjoyable, unless you're like a Terry Kavanaugh super fan like me. So probably not. Hell Tetris, this is a meme game by the creator of XKCD. The general premise of it is that it's Tetris with real physics, and it has curved bottom so you can never get a line. I'm sure there's a way, I'm sure somebody's like finagled it so they actually got what should have been a cleared line in Hell Tetris, and then it didn't clear because they obviously didn't actually program that into the game. This is something similar to like Futility Pong or something like that. It's a joke game, total joke game. Codename Kids Next Door Operation Startup. No, straight up no. It just wasn't very fun. It was kind of nostalgic for me because I played it when I was younger, and I liked KND when I was younger. But ooh, look at this like striped no situation we got going here. Actually, no, sure, no, meme, no, meme, no. I did spend like 2 hours on that game, yes, and then I didn't even finish it, and I'm rating it a no. Deal with it. Yeah, once again, the colors on the left are referring to, these are grouped by stream. In fact, did I start to say that earlier and then trail off? I might have. But yeah, these are like Tums colors. Actually, can you imagine if there's like blue Tums? I was just thinking, I was like looking at this part, the like light, chalky yellow, orange, and green. I was like, this looks like Tums. But then blue is the forbidden flavor. These are sorted by the stream that I streamed them in. SpongeBob Reef Rumble. Was this wasn't the multiplayer one. I always get this and another SpongeBob game mixed up. I'm actually going to Google it, or search it here real quick. Which one was this? Right, no, it was a fighting game, but it was single player. It was single player against, like, bots. This was the one with, overpowered Larry the Lobster. I'm gonna have to say no. It's almost a meme game, but it's just like this sort of like trashy, low fidelity, badly animated SpongeBob fighting game. I don't know. I got a couple yucks out of it, but I feel like that was situational. The character sprites. I hope you like tweening in your animation. Is all. That's an old Flash term. I still don't know if tweening is. I think it's called like warp now or something like that. Or like distort or something like that rather than tween. Whatever. Celeb in Crowd. There was one game earlier that I got confused for this one actually. This one was also not very fun. It was just like it shows you a picture of a crowd and they've like photoshopped like Hillary Clinton's face onto one of the people. It was basically Where's Waldo but for dumb celebrities. And I don't know, it wasn't very fun. Boombot 2. This is a real game. Just like Boombot before it, it has an issue of weird difficulty curve, like many Flash games. I think something I failed to mention about the original Boombot is, and I think Bloons has a similar mechanic to this. Meat Boy had a similar mechanic where you just get to skip a certain number of levels, and Boombot, I think, just lets you do it infinitely. There's just a box that you can tick that's just infinite bombs, basically. So if you ever get to a level where it's just like, man, this is fucking impossible, you can just go to infinite bomb mode and just get through the rest of the game easy and just have a bunch of fun. Which is nice. It's nice that they put that in there. That being said, it kind of does remove all challenge from the game. So they're iffy. They've got some kind of clumsy design to them. Can I just say I uploaded the Zap the Magical Computer thing today, and I've got both the intro theme and the Make Learning Your Game. I have that song, both of those songs simultaneously stuck in my head. As well as the one where he goes, Zap the Magical Computer. So, if I ever like trail off, it's because my brain is overrun by like nostalgia stuck in my head. Anyway, not Civ Balls, Magnetism 2. The intro theme is a banger. Magnetism 2. What did I give Magnetism 1? Yeah, real game. That's kind of what I thought. And that's how I'm feeling on it. This one, I think it's just more levels. It's the amount of polish. You would think after seeing Magnetism 1, oh, they like cleaned it up a ton probably, because that first game was super sloppy. Nope. They just made more levels and made it so you can change the background to shit that looks even worse with the font in the game. It's a real game, but get ready for that low fidelity Flash game experience too, and get ready for a bit of jank and a bit of dumb levels every once in a while. But it's basically fun actually. It's a nice little physics engine sim type game. Civ Balls 2, also a real game. Bam Bam Bam. 3 real games. Basically, again, identical to Civ Balls 1. This one is, it's just a fun little puzzle game. Physics work well, and the puzzles are pretty well designed for the most part. I feel like there's one or two kind of dumb ones. And I'm not thinking of the ones that I like pee-pee brained on. I remember there were a couple that were kind of silly. And it was like the last level or something had some like horse shit or something like that, where I was like, huh? That required like crazy timing or some shit like that. But those are, all 3 of those, pretty good. Pretty solid sequels. they're not bad. Now we're at the retro stream. These are going to be particularly hard to rate because a lot of these are just rip-offs or direct ports of classic arcade games or old video games in general. So fuck it, I'm just not even going to take that into account. I'm just going to rate them as the amount of fun that I have with them, you know? Like Miss Pac-Man, I played this version of Miss Pac-Man quite a few times when I was younger, and yeah, it's Pac-Man. I'm gonna say real game. It's basically just Pac-Man, but made again and in Flash on your computer. The like vector art style almost doesn't fit it very well. Like I would almost prefer a version that has the original graphics, but whatever. I'm sure there's plenty of online versions like that too. But like sure. Was this just Pong? I think was there just a port of Pong? Was it against like a bot? Oh god. Oh god, I searched Pong and the word Pong is in SpongeBob. So it showed me every SpongeBob game along with every Pong game. It wasn't like weird Pong, was it? No, it was just damn ass Pong. I think it was this one. Yeah, and it is against the CPU. Okay, this was whatever. Sure. This gets a sure from me. It's fucking Pong against an AI. I mean, how long are you gonna play that? Asteroids Classic also gets a sure. I'm assuming it was basically like classic Asteroids. It's better than fucking Basteroids, which was like a joke game where they focused too much on making the joke and not enough on making the game. Portal Tetris. This was another joke Tetris. Kind of funny. It was just like there's a portal at the bottom and the top of the Tetris board. So the piece it's like an S block that you can actually rotate and move around properly, but it just falls forever. Meme game. Centipede. These ones, so I mentioned it here. These ones felt like it was somehow like a direct port. It was like, this was not remade in Flash or in ActionScript or anything. It was like, these are somehow like a very accurate port of like Centipede and Frogger and Super Breakout and Tempest and Missile Command. I know it's kind of weird that they're on this list. I'm just gonna rate them here anyway. Fuck it. I'm sure there's not like a ton of like huge fans of Centipede and Frogger who are like, oh man, they're gonna like watch the main review list and they're gonna be like, where's Centipede? Where's Frogger? You know? I doubt anyone cares, so I'm just gonna leave it like this. There's plenty of games on the Flash game list that are not actual Flash games. Some of them are even unmarked, I'm pretty sure. But Centipede, it's a sure. This is like the original version of Centipede, but like, I don't know. It's not that fun. It's kind of just like hectic and frenetic, like a lot of old arcade games are. It's kind of like, I don't know, not a lot of depth to it, and it just repeats over and over again. And I feel like you're kind of at the mercy like of randomness, where like the little mushrooms spawn, you know? There's a lot of randomness. It's kind of like, yeah, whatever. Super Mario Bros. Goomba mode. What? This was like another joke game, but I don't remember exactly what the joke was. It's like you play as a Goomba and you're trying to like you're trying to kill Marios, right? Okay, I'm not gonna play any of it right now, but yes. I remember this. This was made by the same person who made Likes Shields. And you know what? It was a fun little meme game. Just like that other one. Just likes Shields. Just likes Shields. Whoo-wee! They actually used retro graphics properly. There's some other games that we'll see, like the new Iron Mike's Punch-Out, where they just look crusty or they don't play properly. Super Mario Bros. Goomba mode, for what it's worth, the Goomba physics are good, and it's actually got a semi-compelling gameplay loop, and it's a fun little joke. That's fine. It's fine by me. Free Space Invaders. This was the one that looked kind of weird. It was like green and weird. It didn't quite look like the original, but it was clearly just supposed to be a port of Space Invaders. This also gets a sure. A lot of these old arcade games, it's like playing them nowadays, it's like cool. You know? Playing them as a kid, I was a little more enamored, because I was like, whoa! Gaming history! Tetris Snake. I remember this. It was like Tetris, but you control the blocks. It's like a set of 4 blocks that are like moving as a snake. I remember it being kind of fun, but the controls were a little clunky. I feel like this concept could actually be used properly in some way. It's kind of satisfying because it's like you always, you know, playing Tetris, I always dream of like filling in all the cracks in my horrible, horrible Tetris play. And here you can do that very easily. I don't remember it being very compelling though. I'm honestly going to go with a no on this one. I remember being a little disappointed by that. I have played Snailiad. That's on the list. Someone link the list. Yeah, I gave that a godlike. I'm pretty sure. Frogger. This is another sure. So many of these are sure, where it's like, yeah, whatever. It's Frogger. I don't know. You ever played Frogger? You go across the road, and then you go across the river, and you get the fly, and you go into the hole, and then you do it over and over forever, while it gets faster. It's not terribly compelling. I remember I had a LCD game type thing of Frogger when I was younger, and I played that more than I've ever played the original Frogger, honestly. Maybe it's just that I've got my entire life fill of Frogger, and there was also the Neopets version. Pet Rescue, or whatever. Fash games, yeah. Frogger fucks. I can't believe he gave Frogger, my favorite video game, a sure. Super Breakout, this is super boring. If I recall correctly, it was playing like Atari Breakout. It's just not very fun. It's just so slow. It's less fun than fucking Pong. How do you do that? It's just so boring. The ball moves so slowly. And Breakout is a concept that's been iterated on so many times that there's just no excuse for how slow and dull this version of it feels, you know? I mean, the excuse is they didn't know any better at the time. Eventually I'll play another Pippin Barr game, who's the guy who made Pongs, that's called Breaks Out. That's a very similar thing. And that is going to be a profoundly boring game, even with the fun gimmicks. Because it's just so slow and boring. It's just such a dull game, even compared to Pong. Atari Tempest. I almost want to give this one a real game, but I'm also going to give it a sure. God, we just got these like stripes going on. There's like weird patterns. I swear I'm not doing that intentionally. But this one, it's cool. I can imagine like in an arcade, looking at it and being like, whoa, dude, this is the future game. I'm in 3D. But actually playing it, it's just kind of like fiddly and weird. And it doesn't have, a lot of these old arcade games are so surreal and so not attached to anything in reality that it's kind of hard to even get a grasp on what's happening, you know? Especially with limited graphics. Remember the Frogger game theory? I'm sad to say I don't. Didn't know that was a thing. Missile Command. This one was, I found this one very difficult and like hard to like lead my shots. It's you're like defending a base. And you have to like shoot down these missiles or like meteors or some shit that are coming at you. That's fine. I didn't find it terribly enjoyable though. I don't know. Again, a lot of these arcade games, it's just like, yeah, whatever. Gaming history, it feels cool to play them for like a minute, and then you're like, okay, moving on. It's like playing original Donkey Kong. Mario's Bombs Away. This one had a spelling error in the title, so that's why it says sick there. Or it had a grammatical error, rather. I think this was just, a lot of these were ports of Game & Watch games, which I just did for my own amusement. None of these are meme games, and none of them were fun. Spoiler alert. Like, they barely worked. Some of them were, like, the controls were fucked up, even for a Game & Watch game. I remember Mario's Bombs Away was actually actively glitchy and, like, more difficult to beat because of the glitches. And it's like, they fucked up making Game & Watch games, you know? Like, I remember some of them, I think, like, Donkey Kong Jr. and Donkey Kong 2, maybe. They had, like, real-ass JPEGs of Game & Watch consoles, and then they, like, animated it weirdly over it. They look terrible. Just play the Game & Watch collections, you know? And then there was like a God of War one that was also, it wasn't fun. And it was barely funny. I'm not even gonna count it as a meme game. So as much as I like Game & Watch, no, all the way down. And then the new Iron Mike's Punch-Out, I was actually super excited about this because I thought it was a arcade port similar to these other ones, but then when I started actually playing it, I was like, oh shit, no, it's totally scuffed. Like, the game isn't even, like, centered properly on the screen, I'm pretty sure. And the controls just suck ass. I've now since played the actual arcade Punch-Out. This was like a scuffed bootleg clone garbage doo-doo. It was real bad. It was like frustrating to play. Anyway. Super Mario Goddamn 63. So this one I actually spent 3 separate Flash Game Fridays on. It was a long game. I said soundly beaten here, that is a joke. I actually never beat it. I think I got very close to the end and I was like, fuck it, I don't want to do that entire last level again. And so I just Googled the ending cutscene, I'm pretty sure, or something like that. But for what it's worth, despite the frustrations I had with Mario 63, I did play it for 3 weeks, so it had something going for it. This is one of the only Flash games, I think, maybe the only one that I've played just multiple weeks in a row. I know I did, there were some games that I did like revisits to. In fact, hold on, now that I'm thinking of it. So stuff like Winnie the Pooh is listed twice here. I'm just gonna... Yeah, I'm just gonna delete the recurring versions of it. Maybe I should have done this off stream? Thoughts to think about. But yeah, like Meeblings 2, oh look at this, this is a mess. Meeblings is listed 4 times on this list. And I think every single one of them got a sure from me, yeah. So let's just delete row. And, fuck it. Delete row. Sorry, you guys probably really enjoy watching me do fucking, like, housekeeping. Oh, and balloons. Balloons. Sorry, this is just a thing that's happening. Oh! Didn't mean to do that. I, like, freaked out there because I thought it was gonna, like, show all my, like, personal files and shit. I have on this new mouse, I have a button that goes back and forward a page. So I accidentally hit it sometimes, and I'm like, oh! Okay, fuck it. You know what? I'll fix that shit off stream. A peek behind the curtain. So Super Mario 63. It was basically fun. It was like a weird amalgam of a bunch of 3D Marios, but compressed down to 2D. So you had Flood, you had the spin from Mario Galaxy, and you had like a bunch of other shit. And it's like Mario Galaxy 64 and Sunshine all mixed together, like story and aesthetics wise, and it uses a bunch of sprites from a bunch of different games. It's pretty neat. There's like sort of an infamous glut of Mario bootleg Flash games. And some of them are real trash, of course, but Mario 63 is one of the better ones. I know it's like it's a second iteration of Super Mario Sunshine 64 or whatever it is. It's like Super Mario Flash Sunshine or some shit like that, which I'll play a little bit of that original version at some point. But this was, for what it's worth, if you don't have any fucking money and you want to play a crappy bootleg Mario game, this is one of the best crappy bootleg Mario games. It had a bunch of like fun remixes and stuff, and it clearly had a lot of love and effort put into it. And there's a surprising amount of content. It was just, it had that Flash game issue of like, just the controls don't feel great. And it's like, in a game like Mario where precision is king, and you need to be able to control your character properly, it gets quite frustrating. And just little jank things add up, you know? But I'm gonna say real game. I'm not quite gonna say godlike, but it's real good. Donkey Kong 64,000. The technical title of this game, when you actually play it, is Donkey Kong 64,000 Bitch. But that's not how it's listed on Flashpoint. So, no, it wasn't even fun. It's almost a meme game. A lot of these, it's almost kind of funny enough to justify playing it. But this was just like, it was just real shitty. This was the one where the main character was constantly pounding their chest and going, wow, wow, wow. And you like step on lobsters, but the game just like didn't work. Like the controls didn't work properly. So no. I don't remember Donkey Kong Country Flash. Which one is? Oh right, yeah. This stream had a lot of these types of games. I think this one didn't even work though, right? That's why it's a super quick look. Because it's like there's only the level editor. And you can't actually play the video game. I remember I tried like a trillion times. I tried checking the updated version. I tried so many things and I like couldn't even play it. Right. So no. There's some like jank version of that on Flashpoint that's like only the level editor or some shit like that. Super Mario Bros. This one was similar to Donkey Kong 64,000. I almost want to say meme game as well, but this was another one that was just like, you know what, I am gonna say meme game. This one is a little more entertaining than Donkey Kong 64,000 Bitch. But it was just like shitty, crusty JPEGs that somebody like slapped together in a little physics engine. I don't know what else to say. It's just total crap, and it's got like a horrible version of the Mario World theme playing or some shit like that. Chat with Harold. This was truly awful. It was like one of those fake chat bots, and you talk to it, and it's supposed to have like responses based on what you say. But the thing is, its response list was so fucking limited. I've seen Flash games like this that are so much more convincing that it was just garbage. Chat with Harold was pure garbage. Blazing Scissors. Sure. It was a joke game about you play as scissors running across a massive head cutting hair, and each level has a weird gimmick. So there's a person that has like, oh, I've got plants growing in my hair. Cut them out or something like that. It gets a little gory. It's pretty low def. It's not very fun. It's just like a move around the mouse pointer game. But it is basically functional. It is a functional video game, and it has a point, and it has jokes, and it's kind of fun, for what it's worth. This is good. We're making good progress. Progress runs. Eventually, the final boss of this will be reviewing, what, 22 Flappy Bird games? So now we're at, you know what they say to Ouija's Revenge. I don't remember this one either. Ugh. These are like ones that I played for like 2 seconds. There's no you know what they say 1 listed on here. Oh, right. No, this was like a boss fight. It was a boss fight against the king. I remember this one being actually kind of real. Yeah, it had it. Okay. Listen, we're not gonna. This is not a replaying all these games stream. But I'm just gonna briefly go into this one. I'm Bobo. Yeah. So you get the things and collect the things. It was just like a tough boss fight, basically. Yeah. Okay. And it's actually got like kind of decent production value. I just remember it being insanely difficult, basically. And you had to get over 9,000 power and shit. You know YouTube poop jokes. So I'm gonna give this one a sure. Actually, I remember it being too difficult. It was just too hard for me. But for what it's worth, sure. In fact, no, I'm gonna go with meme on this one. it's kind of neat. It's like it's well made too. Aqua Teen Hunger Force head games. No, this wasn't very fun. This was the type of game where the main character walks around uncontrollably and you have to like direct them using a certain set of tools. It just wasn't very fun. The puzzles weren't very compelling. I remember there was like you have a spring and a trampoline and they're like weirdly interchangeable only when they're not or something like that. There was like some like sloppy design to it as well. It was a little bit funny, but it's not really it's not a worthwhile meme game. Dress Up Pikachu and Joey Dress Up. These are just dress up games that are just like they're like slapped together. So much of this stream was just like total trash. Besides like Blazing Scissors and You Know What They Say Too, everything else was just total garbage. Honestly, and dress up games are another thing that's like just one step away from being an animation where they're just dragging images onto other images, essentially. So, no. Badger, Badger, Badger. This is an animation, of course. You've probably seen this. Mushroom, mushroom. It is not funny anymore, but I remember it being very funny when I was younger. Super Meat Boy intro. This is just on here. I don't know. It's well animated. It's the intro to Super Meat Boy. It's in Flash. It's kind of neat that they did that in Flash, truly, considering Meat Boy's origins. It's well animated. It's good. It's not a super compelling story, but it's not supposed to be. Alien Hominid. I remember both of these being, for me, sure, because they've got the animation and they've got the heart, but and I know these are kind of classics, or at least Alien Hominid is, and I know there's like a better version of it. But the original version, it's just a little crusty and not very fun. I'm sure that the remade version or whatever, it's like Alien Hominid Remaster, something like that. It's like Rehydrated or one of those like goofy names. I'm pretty sure. But they're not terribly fun. I didn't find them super amazing. Same with Dad and Me, which is right after this actually. Good animation, good style. They're funny. I think it's the same people who made Castle Crashers, maybe. I shouldn't say that because I've given other people shit for saying that Edmund McMillan made Castle Crashers before. I think potentially same sort of style of humor too, and just sort of like going around beating things up. Alien Hominid's closer to Contra. Dad and Me is closer to like, I don't know, Streets of Rage. I don't know if I've even played that one. But this is more like isometric walk around. This is 2D platformer. And this one was like a bike racer. Honestly, the Alien Hominid Extreme was not very fun. I'm just gonna go with no on that one. It was just fighting like repetitive enemies over and over again in like a dull environment. All these streams where I talk a ton. I keep having to take little sips of water, or else I'll just die. Ragdoll Cannon Remake? What did I give the original Ragdoll Cannon? Because it's gonna be very similar. Yeah, real game. Yes, I agree with my past assertion, and I think this remake is it's actually got different levels. It's not just like a remaster or whatever, it's actually got different levels, so yes, real game and worth playing alongside the original, which is weird considering it's called remake, but whatever. Bubble Tanks, I will play more further, this series, more furtherer, but I'm gonna, you know what, I'll go with real game for this one. It was Bubble Tank's Arenas that kind of was lame to me. But it's basically fun. This was the one that I got to break using my auto clicker, because it was like how fast you can click determines how much you can shoot, which is always fun. And it's just basically fun to move around and kill the things and get the power-ups. It's good. I feel like a lot of people consider Bubble Tanks to be kind of a classic, or Bubble Tanks 2 or 3. The Company of Myself, this was the Artsy Games stream. Company of Myself, yeah, real game. This is a game where you make little temporal clones of yourself that are your shadow, and then you reset the room, and you have to work alongside the clone that you made. and you have to sort of like think ahead to like what actions you want to do as the clone to like move around. It's a fun little compelling game. The story I really don't really give much of a shit about. It's one of those like, oh, you think you're finding the princess the whole game, but really at the end it turns out you're a murderer in a coma or something like that. I don't remember if it was a murderer. I remember there was a coma plot twist at the end or whatever. That was like, yeah, whatever. But the game itself is actually, it's a fun little puzzle platformer, short and sweet. It's good. Good game. I've been getting a lot of comments from people, and comments on like not only Twitch chat and the YouTube videos as well, of people going, "I'm high as shit, bro." I don't have anything wrong with that. I just think it's funny. It's just recently, I guess people have been getting stoned and watching Grapefruit. Sure, that's fine. Manifest. This one, oh right, this was the, this one was really cool. This is another one that's like an interactive animation more than anything else. But I'm gonna say real game. This is like artsy games at their finest. It was something about like a fictional, it proposed like a fictional world, but it treated it as though if it were like real life, where there's this old scientist who discovered these like shapes, and if you get to the point where you can picture these shapes perfectly clearly in your mind, then it like brings you all the things that you want in life, or something like that. And Manifest is supposed to be like a training program for getting yourself to manifest those shapes in your mind. And it's just confirmation bias. Like, of course, it doesn't actually work, and the ratings that the game gives you on how well you did are just random. I think it's a really interesting little piece of software. It's a little cool little narrative written in a unique way, I think. Yeah. Yeah, somebody said, how many games are there? And then they said, holy shit. The Majesty of Colors. This was a Stanley Parable-esque find all the endings type game. I'm between a sure and a real game on this. It's neat. You know what? Actually, I am going to say real game. Because it had a neat concept. It was like, oh, I had a dream. It's about a person having a dream and forgetting who they are, and remembering themselves as, or imagining themselves as this like underwater sea creature. But it's implied that it's like, what was that movie about the girl that like learns that she's inadvertently controlling a kaiju across the world? It was kind of like that, where it's like your body is going into the mind of this, or your mind is going into the body rather of this big sea monster with tentacles, and it's like the person forgets who they are, and they become obsessed with the outer world, and they sort of accidentally cause a bunch of problems in the above world. It was a neat little game. There wasn't too much to it. I think there were like 5 endings or something like that. But it was fun to poke around and try different things. It was a little slow. Like I remember restarting the day every time. It was like waiting for those balloons to come by and everything. It was like, all right, can we speed this up? But it was neat. It was a neat game. In fact, God, like all but one of these are gonna be real game. Loved was also good. This was a game that was supposed to simulate the feeling of being in an abusive relationship of some sort. I've personally not had it experience in that situation, but it's pretty chilling, I guess. It's very simple too. It's not like overly. It's not, I guess, what you would call like preachy or anything. It's just trying to be this like stark kind of realistic simulation of the sort of feelings someone would go through. And it's like, of course, you can't actually like perfectly simulate that, and I don't think it really achieves that perfectly. It doesn't really absolutely get you into that mindset, but it was a neat little art game. It had good like ambient music, and I liked there was a feature where depending on whether or not you obey the voice that's like talking to you throughout the game, the world becomes more or less colorful, and I liked how that was done. It was a neat touch. Don't Look Back. This was a Terry Kavanagh game. I would say this is a real game too. It was just, a lot of these are platformers actually. This is a platformer about, it's like Odysseus or whatever, the guy who goes to the underworld in Greek mythology to get his GF, and once he leaves, he can't turn around and look at her, otherwise she dies. And it's basically your journey as this little pixel man from a mysterious grave down into the depths of hell, past some like demons and shit. And then you get the GF, and then you have to make your way out of hell, and you actually can't look back at her. Neat little gameplay idea. Not perfectly executed. It's not like amazingly polished, but the game has a style, like many of Terry Kavanagh's games. It looks good. It plays good. And it was a nice, simple, unique gameplay concept that I found enjoyable. And it wasn't too like difficult or punishing. It was a nice little short and sweet game. Orpheus, sure. Dr. Orpheus! That was a terrible Dr. Orpheus. To do a true Dr. Orpheus yell, you need to get so loud and so shrill. And I have neighbors, man. I Can Hold My Breath Forever. This was a cute game, but the gameplay was pretty lacking, and it really didn't have the same sort of like art value as these other ones. It was like moving through a series of underground underwater caves. I guess lots of caves are underground. But it was basically moving through those, finding little journal entries that were left by your friend who always says, "I can hold my breath forever." And it was kind of nice because I think it was like a reverse twist. It was like you're expecting like, oh, they're dead or they're a ghost or whatever. But in the end, it's just like a happy little squid fella when you find them, which I thought was kind of nice. But the game, overall, it was like you have to hold your breath going through these caves. There really wasn't, it was just go to the next cave, basically every time. There were a couple points where like if you went the wrong way, you would run out of breath and then you would have to go back. But they really didn't take the game mechanic to any like big extent that made it notable, I guess, except for the whole story thing, right? It kind of like reverse faked me out, which was kind of nice. Zombo.com. This is a classic. This is like, I was going to Zombo.com when I was like 12, I bet. Just a neat little goofy animation. I wonder if it's still up. I'm not even gonna. I'll try it out on an incognito window so I don't fuck up the game capture. I wonder if it's still up. Click to enable. I mean, oh man, Zombocom's gonna go away. But yeah, Zombocom is still up. You can still go there, for the record. It's just a fun little imaginative thing where it's like, oh, Zombocom, it's very vague, it's intentionally very vague. It's like, oh, Zombocom is a place where you can do anything. The only limit is yourself, but then it doesn't actually give you anything. And then I think at the end, it like loops, but only after it shows you a little link to like go to their like merch store or some shit like that. Whatever. Mr. Happy Face, this was kind of like cringe watching it again. It was just like sort of classic Flash edgelord humor, basically, where there's a guy and he's a happy face, but he stabs people to death. Whoa. So it was kind of that kind of like, look how zany type humor that does not age terribly well. TBH. Look at how like stacked some of these streams are. It's like some of them are just like, no, and then some of them are like, all gold games, you know? Or all real games, at least. We have not had have we had a single godlike game today? I don't think so. But yeah. Young Lee, this one gets a sure. I was surprised at how good this one was, because I remember seeing the screenshot of it, and I was like, oh, this looks like trash. I was like, this looks like Kermit combat level trash. But actually, it's just kind of boring. It's like a side-scrolling beat-em-up type thing that you play with your mouse. It had really weird controls. And you play as this like stylized young Bruce Lee, and I just remember it being really repetitive and boring, and at a certain point it got too challenging, and I was like, whatever. Not very fun. What is Haya? Is this the weird one with the like? I feel like this was the one with the like bag of water with like a fish in it, traveling through the desert, right? Yeah, that's exactly what it was. This one was neat. This one gets a short as well, because I remember it being short and sweet and kind of boring. Like, it was... But it was really unique visually. It was like you play as like this weird fish bag of water thing that has eyes, and you need to collect water droplets, and it's like you're tethered to a bee or something. And you're going through the desert trying to avoid obstacles, but it really was kind of unexceptional besides the design of like the main player character, which was just one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life. McDonald's Meal Hunt, this was a... Oh, this one was like broken, so absolutely not, but this was a old McDonald's Neopets game. I think we had a previous version of it earlier that actually worked properly, and then this one didn't. I don't even know where I found this one. I don't fucking know. This was probably the version that was on Flashpoint, whereas the one before was probably on Neopets itself. Oh, and by the way, I swear I played the Impossible Quiz. Okay, does anybody remember? I mean, I'm sure nobody remembers what stream it was in, but didn't I play the Impossible Quiz at some point? I could have sworn I did. It was like one of the first ones I did, right? But it's not on this list. I've searched in this and the proper like mega list that isn't just reviews. If anybody knows, if anybody can like find it or something, let me know. I don't know. I would hate to send any... Don't like go scrubbing through all the streams though on my behalf, because I might not have actually done it, because it's not on this list. I just have like a vague memory of streaming it. Anyway. Yeah, plane went by. Thank you for letting me know, chat. Super Monkey Poop Fight. This one was like a little platformer where you're like hitting you're hitting hunters with poop, and it was in like a super tiny window, I remember. No, it wasn't very fun, and it wasn't very funny. It was just kind of shitty. It was like, it kind of felt like an arcade game. Like some of those arcade games that I ranked earlier. Second person shooter. This was another like neat idea where it's a dude, you're looking at a dude who's looking at a computer screen. You can't see the computer screen, and he's just describing what's happening on screen, and you need to basically follow his commands. And I think the one thing that always fucked me up was at one point he goes, down, no, up, I mean, or something like that, or he like fakes you out. And that was at the point where I was like, all right, fuck this. And I gave up. But it was a neat idea. There's one later on that's called like the Blind Samurai or the Blind Swordsman. It's kind of a similar gimmick where it's like you can't actually see the game and the game has to communicate it to you in other ways. This one just did it through text. The other one did it through sound design. Neither of them are very fun. No. Again, almost a meme game, but I would call it meme game status if it was a little better. It's just kind of shoddy as it is. I played it on Flash Game Friday Part 2. Is that true? 'Cause I might need to add that to the list then. Boom 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 boom. Oh yeah, it's in the thumbnail of Flash Game Friday Part 2. I knew it was an early one that I played. So I must have just forgot to list it. Oh yeah, it was right after Bloom's Tower Defense 5. Yeah, I totally did. I totally played it. Thank you, chat. I'm gonna add it to the list. Right after Bloom's Tower Defense 5. Wow, it's just straight up not there. How do I do this? Insert row. Ah! Oh, I missed. Thank you. I'm gonna rate the Impossible Quiz, too. It's neat. This is a cool meme game. I would almost rate it godlike. I don't think I ever beat the Impossible Quiz. You need to, like, save all of your, you need to save all your level skips to actually beat the game. And I never really felt like just looking up a guide for it, but I played the shit out of it when I was younger. And yeah, it's very fun, very funny, entertaining. It's got some of that sort of like random humor or like potty humor of like early Flash games. I remember there's the one where you have like break Sonic's arm or like cut off his nose or some shit. And that, it's, you know, you take that with it. But it's actually pretty fun, funny, and creative. I remember the part that always blew my mind was the puzzles where it says, now don't touch this color, and you have to like go outside the window, or especially the one where you have to right click and make a bridge using the right click menu. That blew me away when I was younger. And it's got other like similar subversive puzzle solutions, you know. Johnny Upgrade. This one, yeah, real game. It was kind of basic, but it's sort of a parody almost of the Upgrade style of Flash game, where you play in little iterations and you get better and better by buying upgrades. And this one, you like run like 2 feet before you die instantly the first time or something like that, because you run out of time and you have to buy more time with like the 1 coin that you picked up or some shit like that. I remember it being pretty basic, but in the end, fun. It was a fun, cute concept, well executed. Bubble Tanks Arenas, this was the shitty Bubble Tanks one. I didn't really find this terribly enjoyable. It's got like level editor, I guess. You know what, I'll give this one a sure. Because it does have that level editor. It's kind of neat, but it was just like a lesser version of Bubble Tanks, and I will play Bubble Tanks 2 and 3 at some point, which I've heard are significantly better than the first one. God. I'm gonna need to like take a break to like rest my voice, man. I am kind of plowing through these. How long have I been going? Nearly an hour and a half. Oof. Oof. I'll say it again. Woof. The best dress-up game ever. This had a couple funny jokes, but it was dressing up a little poop. A little turd that's like whatever color you choose. It wasn't very fun, wasn't very funny, etc. Waffle Boys Jungle Adventure and Mountain Adventure were like shitty sponsored game platformers. I seem to remember Mountain Adventure was like broken, yeah. At a certain point, it was like I beat a level and then it just went to a black screen and I couldn't fix it. But they weren't terribly fun. They were just like shitty. They were kind of like Neopets tier games, where they just weren't very fun. Platformers. Not much else to say. That was a personal request from a friend of mine who was like, I played these when I was younger. They were silly enough, but they weren't terribly good. Amorphous gets a sure just because Amorphous Plus gets a real game. But it's basically, can I just do both of these now? Amorphous Plus, actually kind of fun. You move around with the mouse, you have a big knife, you cut blobs of jelly, they give you increasing difficulty blobs of jelly. This feels like the arcade style of game that you could just play for ages and ages and ages. That being said, the original is basically obsolete. It's got good music too, I remember. It had like randomized selected music, or it like cycled through them or something. And it had like good songs, and I was like, damn, Flash games don't normally have amazing music, but that's an exception. Futility Pong, or no, wait, Jellotime.com. It's a fucking interactive thing of Jello, and you touch it, and it goes whoa, 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 whoa. It's by the same guy who made some of those other ones earlier. It's of course not fun. It's barely funny. It's just a cute little interactive thing. Whatever. It's a very whatever thing. I just used it to start off the stream, I'm pretty sure. Futility Pong. Funny joke meme game. I like this one. It's Pong, but you're the third paddle, and the other 2 paddles play perfectly, so you never get to touch the ball. It is a cute little joke. Actually well made, too. It's like they put the effort in. Cerebral Discharge 3. This is an Edmund M. slideshow, basically, of his art. It's not a fun game, but I guess it's a neat little showcase of his art. If nothing else. If you're a big Edmund M. fan, then go for Cerebral Discharge and see some cool stuff. But I'm pretty sure all that stuff was in the galleries on the Basement Collection, too. Maybe not all of it. Maybe not even any of it. I don't know. I don't have all of his artworks memorized. Mouse FX. This was like a weirdly good, I'm gonna say meme, just because there's not a lot of gameplay, but it's actually like legit cool looking mouse effects to just sit there. To those stoners in the audience, Mouse FX and Mouse FX 2. just like weird, cool looking mouse cursor effects, basically. And I remember at the end of both of the games, I'm pretty sure, it goes, "I hope you liked it, ... which just cracked me the fuck up. I remember these being like weirdly hype and good, even though there's no actual gameplay, it's just fucking moving a mouse around. This is Sand, masterpiece. This is where I drew Luigi using sand. Honestly, it's supposed to be like a meditative, like, oh, draw things using sand, make weird sandscapes. It's not fun, though. It's just painfully slowly pouring sand of different colors. Just use the powder toy. Powder toy is so much more fun. Keylight, this was like a little music toy. I didn't get much enjoyment out of this. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a Flash game, by the way, whatever. It was just like move the little dots around, place little dots, and it like moves through them in a rhythm. And I just couldn't even get the hang of like how to actually make real music with it. So no, I didn't really find that terribly enjoyable. Bridge, this also gets a no. This is like one of the most cursed games ever. This is a Terry Kavanagh game. This is the one that would just show you like a picture and it had like dismal music and it had colors at the bottom of the screen and you could like move left or right going through the colors and it took a really long time to select one and it was just really weird. I don't know at all what it was supposed to be going for. It just felt really creepy and bizarre and it wasn't fun in the slightest. So again, as a Terry Kavanagh super fan, it was kind of interesting to see. But otherwise, no, I can't recommend. And then Lazy Confetti Laser, also no. It was just a little like physics demo, basically, of a little ball moving around, hitting confetti and making a particle effect. It was like a lesser version of Mouse Effects, basically. Yes, this was the Flash Game Friday that I started 15 minutes before midnight. It's very true. The Powder Games, this is Powder Game 1, most recent version, and Powder Game 2, most recent version, which they had a ton of versions. They're not actually Flash games. I think they're in like HTML5 or some shit. I'm ranking them on this list because they're close enough to being Flash games, honestly. And they're on Flashpoint, so these are, I'm gonna say, real game and godlike for the second one. Just because, I mean, Powder Game 2 just straight up has more stuff, but Powder, there's all sorts of games like this online. I don't know which one's the original one, but they're all pretty fun, like, excluding This Is Sand. But these are just fun little sandbox games where you have these interactions between different elements and chemicals that are really interesting and fun to mess around with. Endless fun, really, in these. I could, if I ever like completely ran out of games to do, I could just fucking do Powder forever. So they're fun. They're good games, even though again not technically Flash games, but whatever. Shush. Don't tell nobody. Pixel Grower. I think this is a real game too. This one I didn't play it for very long, but it was like falling pixels are coming down from the top of the screen. You have like a little pong paddle at the bottom, moving it around, and they just stick to your paddle, kind of Katamari style. And the paddle just gets bigger, and the little pixels fall down faster and faster as you get bigger. It's just kind of a neat little game. I remember you could cheese it pretty easily by just moving the mouse back and forth really fast, though. So it was kind of broken, but it was neat and fun, and I remember it had decent music and visuals for what it's worth. When's the next Grim Fandango stream? I don't know. Potentially later today, probably not. I've been meaning to finish FTL. I'm going to do one more stream of FTL, and then I'm just going to call it quits, because I just keep having to like force myself to go back to it, or to even think about going back to it. I'm just not very good at that game. It's just not really my type of thing. But I'll do one more stream where I talk about Star Trek the whole time. So, but I think I'll probably do that and then Grim Fandango. I don't even know. Honestly, so much of it just depends on what mood I'm in. So I might do more Grim Fandango later today. I don't know. Hate to leave you on the fence there. This one was completely broken. This is a Pip and Bar game. It is as if you were playing chess. It's supposed to be like an ironic game. This version of the game I would not recommend because it didn't fucking work. Maybe one day I will play. He has a whole series of games that are like, it is as if you were doing work. It is as if you were making love. And it is as if you were playing chess. So I'll maybe do those on his original website at some point, but the Flashpoint version of this is broken. Leave Me Alone. This one was cute. I feel like... Do you ever feel like you play a game that you just didn't click with at all? This was one where, like, I just had Zelda moment after Zelda moment where I was like, what the fuck do I do? Where do I go? What's happening? I don't know. I'm gonna give it as a sure, but it was a cute little platformer. It had neat graphics, but I just remember it being kind of annoying and not really knowing what to do at any given time, despite its cuteness. I don't know. It felt like a way lesser version of, say, Snailiad. I'm gonna sit up straight here. Hold on, my back hurts. Okay, now we're getting into the Blue Maxima streams. God, we're getting real close to present day, actually. Fuck yeah. So good. It's gonna feel good to be done with this, and admittedly, I think this is probably the second of 3 eventual Flash game review streams, because, of course, after I finish this list, I will continue to play Flash games, and I'll probably do at least one more review stream for them eventually. Maybe that'll be like the last Flash Game Friday or some shit like that. Or maybe I'll just do it as I go along as needed. Sierra 7, this was like a first-person shooter type game. It was fun. Not really my type of thing, honestly. But I'm gonna say it's a real game. You know, it's not really my type of thing, but for a Flash game, pretty amazing that they managed to do this. It had a lot of like 3D environments, which were very impressive, or like mock 3D, you know. And or some of it might have actually been real 3D. You can do that shit in Flash somehow. And it was generally fun. It just wasn't really my type of thing. But very high fidelity. A lot of these Blue Maxima games, to those of you who don't know, Blue Maxima is the creator of Flashpoint, which is the Flash program that I use. So basically, he's got all the knowledge on what like all the secret best Flash games are, you know? So he, on a couple of these streams, just sort of showed me a bunch of cool games that I hadn't played yet. A Duck Has an Adventure. This is a real game. This is like Stanley Parable style thing. Where it was like you click like a story option, and you click like down. It's like every time you click on like the square in the center of the screen, it like moves to a different square, and it kind of looks like a game board winding around in different paths, and you can choose different paths, and you can go back to see what would have happened if you took a different choice. It's very clean, well made, and cute. I wrote down quack. Look, fuck off. It's cute, but it's not terribly fun, I guess. Like, it's more fun to like explore. There's no actual like gameplay besides moving back and forth on these lines. There's no like failure state or anything, which of course a game doesn't need. Bowman. I'm gonna give this one a sure, and then give this one a real game. These are apparently like total classics. I think I mostly missed these when I was younger. I think I played a tiny bit of Bowman when I was younger. But you play a little stick figure with a bow, and you shoot birds, and that's it. Actually, no, you shoot another dude. Bowman 2 is the good one, or is the real game one, because it has the bird mode. But it's got multiplayer potential and single player. The AI I remember being pretty good, but not too impossibly amazing, which was nice. A Bowman Penguins. This is a no. I don't think Blue Maxima actually recommended this one. This was just like a weird little toy that I saw while searching for Bowman games. It was just like little virtual penguins move around, and that's just fucking it, I think. Body Ladder. This was kind of like Tetris, where it's a neat idea, but I didn't feel like it was very fun, honestly. I'm gonna give this one a sure, but it was like, you're fighting, it's a brawler, you're a stickman dude, and other stickmen are coming in, and every time you kill one, they become a platform that you can walk on, basically. and it just makes this big stack of corpses that you have to climb up. And it's an arcade style game. It's like, yeah, whatever. I feel like it could have been a little more actually fun. I remember it not being terribly fun. Coaster Racer. I'm gonna have to search this one. Sorry, I accidentally closed Flashpoint. Coaster Racer. Oh, I'm like racking my brains trying to remember. Was this like weird 3D one? Yeah, it was. Okay. This was like a weirdly good first-person 3D kart racing game. It was like just weirdly good. It was kind of like you know when you're at the fucking like bowling alley, and there's that game where you like sit. There's that arcade machine game where you like sit down in the chair like you're a racer and you're racing around. It's kind of like one of those, and it was like actually kind of fun. And it's one of those Flash games where you're like, huh, this is in Flash? Like, it doesn't look like it at all, because of how, like, 3D and how, like, well-flowing it is. But it is. It's totally Flash. Rose and Camellia. Oh, this was the slapping game. This one wasn't very fun, but it was, this is, like, meme status. It was a game where you play as, like, high society Victorian women and you slap each other. And Don't Shit Your Pants is also a meme game. It's similar to the Stanley Parable or Majesty of Color, or A Duck Has an Adventure, where you're trying to find different endings. I think all the endings, except for one, end in shitting your pants, or like farting, or whatever. It's like classic sort of Flash game gross out humor, but it's also genuinely, it's like a real text parser adventure where you have to like figure shit out. And it's kind of funny. It was fun to play with Blue Maxima, like giving me hints. I feel like if I didn't have any hints, I would just be like, duh, the whole time, you know? The Gatekeeper, I rated this as hell rather than finished or quick look or anything, because this was supposed to be a game about, it's the Gatekeeper of Hell, and it's a little hamster who plays tic-tac-toe with you, but since tic-tac-toe is a solved game, he almost always wins. Although on stream, Blue Maxima said he literally always wins. There's no way to win. But somebody tweeted at me later and said, actually, there's one way that you can win this game, and it's the only possible way to do it. I was like, huh, very interesting. But there actually is a victory screen written into this game, even though I think Blue Maxima was under the impression that the whole point of the game is that it's completely unbeatable. Which is kind of interesting. The Gatekeeper. Oh, no, I just did that one. Meme. It was like weirdly high fidelity, too. It was one of those games where like, it's like, man, a lot of effort was put into this. Commando. Oh, this one wasn't, I didn't find this one very fun, if I recall correctly. I think I was being a little polite, but this was like a Contra style run around and shoot game. Yeah, it just wasn't very fun, in my personal opinion. Maybe I was just bad at it or something. It was just kind of generic, run around, you're a military dude, shoot the things, what the fuck ever. Solip Skier, on the other hand, is a real game. Looks real good. It's kind of neat. It's a little bit like Line Rider, but more like an action game. It's like you're doing it in real time. What is the solution for Hell Chess? I don't remember. Or the Gatekeeper. Or Hell Chess. Yeah, Hell Tic-Tac-Toe. I don't know. I remember them saying it was like, oh, it's one of the most obscure, like, tic-tac-toe solution attempts that you can do, or some shit like that. Solip Skier, pretty fun. It looks great and it sounds great, and the visuals and the way it's programmed are very smooth and professional. It's not the most in-depth shit, but it's, for what it's worth, it's basically fun. It's another like nice little arcadey game that you could just play forever if you really wanted to. I remember finding this on StumbleUpon. Did anybody else have StumbleUpon? Which was like a service, an old internet service where it would just like take you to random websites, depending on the kind of stuff that you like. And that's how I found a lot of this. I remember Jello Time, I think I found on there as well. And folks, I need to go refill my water bottle, and I'm just gonna take a quick little voice break. Shrek song. It's just all-star. It's just all-star. Mario 3 castle theme. Alright. I'm just gonna take a quick little break. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go refill my water bottle and other such things. BRB! Hi, Mr. Grapefruit. World's biggest Frogger fan here. I'd just like to let you know I'm personally very disappointed with the way that you run things on your stream. Very disappointed. All right, I expect a big step up in the coming months after this little comment. All right. Very disappointed in your treatment of Frogger and Centipede, which is really a brother to Frogger. Alright, back to reviewing the games. I did it. I got the water. Anti-Kappa Commando, huh? Oh, it's not actually... Oh, it's about real, like, Japanese Kappas, not the fucking Twitch emote. Okay. Back to reviewing. Obey the game. This one was actually a real game. Yeah, this was another JMBTO2 game, where it gives you instructions. It's kind of like WarioWare style game. Not much else to say about it. It was actually weirdly compelling and fun, though. It was just like, jump to the goal here. But then sometimes it would say, don't jump to the goal here, or whatever, or something like that. So it's kind of like that game Not or whatever, where it's like, don't press the button. It's kind of a neat little thing. And then Necropsaria, what was this? Oh, right, this was like a really weird point-and-click adventure game that it's a whole series. There's 4 of them, and they all look hella weird. It was cool. It was kind of like Pajama Sam, sort of, but I never got anywhere because the puzzles were a little too obtuse for me. So I'm gonna give it a sure. It does have cool art. That game does have really cool like art style, but otherwise it's kind of like eh. Oh man, N. This is a doozy because this game it's kind of fun. Like playing it, I remember I was like, all right, this is gonna be like the new Mario 63. How true that was, only not in the way I thought it was gonna be. I was like, I'm gonna play this one for multiple streams. I ended up only playing it for 1 stream. It was pretty fun. It's like a little, you play as a ninja. You're going through these like sets of 5 levels, and collecting gold and just getting to the exit. And it's like a little Super Meat Boy-esque control scheme and platforming style. The levels just got so fucking dumb eventually. Like it got to the point where the levels were so fucking hard and so like trial and error and tedious, and some of them were very long, that it just got so frustrating and annoying, and I just quit playing eventually. But for what it's worth, up until that point, I was having a pretty decent time. But it had like total Flash game syndrome of like, some levels are just like scuffed as fuck. And it doesn't have music too, that's kind of lame. I wish it had some sort of music. I ended up just playing Sax Squatch and Michael Rosen during that stream. Yeah, there's also N+, which is a enhanced version of the Flash game, I think. It's kind of like a port to DS and a couple other things. And then there's N++, which I actually have, which is like a proper sequel. And I will stream that eventually. Hopefully that doesn't have the same syndrome, although that game has like 1 trillion levels. So maybe I don't want to stream that whole game. But for what it's worth, I think this is still a real game. It's just that it definitely has just frustrating, irritating, annoying, tedious levels at a certain point that just make it so hard to keep going or to want to keep going. What did N stand for? Ninja, I think. It's N the Way of the Ninja is like the technical full title, but it's just, I think it's just listed as N on Flashpoint. Actually, let me check. Yeah, you know what? It's N the Way of the Ninja. I'm gonna change that. You guys know what the fuck it is, N. Alright. Whatever. Pongs. This is Pippin Bar. This is a neat game. I would say real meme game. Which one's it gonna be? Okay. I'm fine with that. It's kind of a joke game. This wasn't actually on Flash Game Friday. This was with a stream with Lark. It's a neat idea, and some of the Pongs, it's just a bunch of different versions of Pong, basically, with different rules. And for what it's worth, some of them are very creative and pretty fun. It's fun to go through all the different versions and see not only the goofy ones, but some of the ones that are a little more legit. It's neat, and it was a great stream game. So total meme, but actually kind of fun too. Oh, we're so close. We're so close. I keep like scrolling down to look at it. That's something I totally do when I'm editing, is like, I'll be like, how much footage is left in the thing? And I check that so often that I never get like a satisfying moment where it's like, oh yeah, like I've edited through like an hour of footage or whatever. Because it's always like going down in increments of like 15 minutes as I check frequently. Whatever. Anyway, Lemon Noir. This was another Blue Maxima recommendation. This is starting the second Blue Maxima stream. It was pretty cool, but it was barely game-like. This is another one that was almost just a cool animation. So I'm gonna give it a sure. It was a it was a French game, and it was about a little dude with a mustache that goes around and he's trying to get sleep in a hotel, and weird zany shit keeps happening, and he always has to get up and fix the people's problems who are making the noise, so he can get back to sleep. It was a cute, fun little game, but similar to Necropsaria, it was just kind of like, okay, the gameplay was not amazing. Delicious water. Madness Accelerant. I don't remember this one. Some of these we only looked at for a little bit. Oh, right, this one was awesome, honestly. Yeah. This is by Tom Fulp, who I think is the same guy who made Alien Hominid. Let me check. No, that's the Behemoth Doodle Bin? Okay, apparently I don't know what I'm talking about. I feel like Tom Fulp is like a well-known name in Flash. I don't remember exactly what he did. But no, the Madness Accelerant was awesome. I would even say godlike. It was just like, it was kind of what, you know what they say 2 was trying to be, where it was just a cool, compelling boss fight, like a multi-phase boss fight, that was actually kind of fun, and awesome, and well animated, and had a lot of character and personality put into it. It was pretty cool. Hoshi Saga 1, this is also... I'm just gonna call it a real game. Just to let you know, there are like 15 more Hoshi Saga games. They're just fun little single iteration puzzles, basically, where it's like, find the star, and there's all sorts of zany solutions. It's well animated and cute, and lots of the puzzles are clever, without being too, like, thinky, I guess. It's fun and good. Yeah, Hoshi Saga, I liked that one. And I think I'm gonna do a Flash Game Friday at some point that's just going through the whole Hoshi Saga series, and just doing all the ones that I feel like doing. Because it's the kind of game where you can just do however many levels you want and then fuck off, basically. Gunblood, this was a quick draw game. It was well animated, and it's a neat concept, but I'm just gonna give it a sure. It just wasn't that fun to play, and I feel like the quick draw format is like made for VR, basically. Whereas on a Flash game using a mouse, it just feels kind of lame. But it was well animated and had a nice actual compelling challenge that was unique. I think that's the strength of a lot of the games that Blue Maxima showed me, was at least, if nothing else, they were unique. Tom Fulp is the one that did Castle Crashers. Okay. See, I got that mixed up too. I've given people shit in the past about that. Whatever. Handless Millionaire. This was a meme game. It wasn't very fun. It was like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, except instead of answering questions, you're reaching your hand through a guillotine to grab a dollar bill. And the guillotine has like different timing and different rhythm each time. It wasn't actually that fun, but it was surprisingly well developed. It was like the physics of your hand slicing off were like weirdly well animated. So I give it props for that, and it was kind of funny. This one, oh, I don't even know how to pronounce this. Circum Ertos. This was it was like a guy sitting in a chair in an office throwing a paper ball into a basket. Honestly, no. I didn't find it very fun. It was cute. It was one of those things where it's like, oh, this is a cute idea, but it just wasn't. I guess I wasn't very good at it, or I didn't like get it, or what. I just sucked at it. But it looked good. It was one of those games where it's like, oh, what a unique style. But I didn't really care for it. Redline Rumble. Fuck, which one was this? This is like rings a bell. I'm sure it'll come back to me. Oh yeah, this was just another racing game. This was a Shockwave game, and it was 3D. I don't know. This one, it was kind of fun. I'm gonna give this one a sure. Kind of like the other racing game. The other one actually I gave a real game to, I'm pretty sure, but right? Yeah, Coaster Racer. But Redline Rumble, I don't know. It's a little less impressive because it's not like an in-flash game. It's just kind of like, I don't know, it's just crusty 3D JPEGs of cars racing down a road. Nothing terribly unique or exciting about that. Honestly, I don't even know why Blue Maxima showed me that one, but whatever. Maybe it's just like as racing games go, it's fun, but I'm not huge on racing games. Yeti Sports 1 Pingu Throw is basically Whack-A-Cass or whatever the earlier one was. I think it was Whack-A-Cass. Actually kind of fun. I think this is what Whack-A-Cass was based off of, where it drops a thing down in front of you, you hit it with a bat, and it goes super far, or it doesn't go far at all, depending on how well you hit it. It's all about timing. Very simple, very arcadey. Actually kind of fun, though. It's compelling, just like Whack-A-Cass. The Republic of Times. This is a game that I didn't know existed, and it's kind of like a companion piece to Papers, Please, or like a prequel, maybe? I don't know when it came out in relation to Papers, Please, but it works in... It's like in the same universe as Papers, Please, and it's about working for a newspaper where the government is influencing you on what articles you can put in, and they're like, oh, we'll pay you more if you make the public more happy, even though you're holding the truth from them, and stuff like that. It's sort of the same. It's the same type of moral, ethical stuff that Lucas Pope was going for in Papers, Please. It's pretty interesting. It's a nice little one and done type game too. It's very short and sweet. Sweet maybe is not a word that I would use to describe it. The Blind Swordsman, like second person shooter, I mentioned this earlier. This one is like you're fighting an opponent in 3D space, and all you have to go on is the sound effects. I don't know if I was just trash at this. I was really trying, but I just couldn't even beat the first guy. Like it's like a boss rush type game, I guess, of just a linear sequence of opponents. I couldn't even fight the first guy. I couldn't like land a single blow. I just felt like it was maybe not amazingly made, because I don't know. I'm a relatively seasoned gamer, and I know I can suck at things, but it just felt like I couldn't make any progress whatsoever. So I was like, oh, it's a neat idea, but I just feel like I'm flailing around. Run. Oh, I have this listed a few times, actually. I'm just gonna delete this one, because it's listed later. I saw her standing there. This is kind of like, it's a very similar game to The Company of Myself. Really, in terms of like everything, like it's got a little pretentious, cutesy story. I guess this one's more cutesy. Company of Myself is a little more edgelordy and a little more serious, but this one is like, oh, your girlfriend is a zombie and you need to like get her without getting killed by the zombies or some shit like that. It's a cute little puzzle game, simple, short and sweet. Yeah, real game. It was cute. And fun little, basically compelling puzzles, if I recall correctly. Heli Attack 3. I don't remember this either. Oh yeah, this one was very similar to Commando. Honestly, same exact fucking review as Commando. Or whatever. Yeah, Commando. I didn't care for it. It's just kind of generic, and I didn't feel like it played super well. Hexagon. Godlike! Totally fucking godlike game. This was the stream where I framed it as demos of games, but really it's... This was... I feel like Hexagon wasn't really a demo, nor was Hungry Night, nor was Luftrauser. It's just that they're previous versions of things that became later, like, more well-known games. But Hexagon, for what it's worth, is some of the most fun you can have in Shockwave Flash, or just in Flash, rather. They're so... It's so fun. It's got great music, amazing visuals. It's like I was talking about Tempest earlier, how it's like surreal and abstract, but for Hexagon it totally works, in my opinion, where it doesn't for Tempest. Like, it's just fun, and it's got a nice amount of challenge, but it's not too like CBT. And it's got sort of that aspect of like the visual fuckery is part of the challenge, but not to an annoying degree at all, I think. It's like, it's perfect. It's a great game. And then Super Hexagon, of course, is also amazing. So fun. Hungry Night, not a very fun game. This is the precursor to Hollow Knight. This is a game jam game. It's just not very fun. It's gameplay-wise not very similar to Hollow Knight at all, except using a similar art style and characters. I think the walk animation or this normal standing animation is just straight up, like in Hollow Knight, is straight up traced or ripped from this game. It's not very fun, even though it's cool to go back and play it after you've played Hollow Knight. It's kind of like, oh, this is where some of that stuff came from. It's kind of neat, but not actually fun. Not really worth playing, honestly. If like just watching the video of me playing it is probably enough. The actual gameplay itself is not terribly fun. Luftrauser, also godlike. It's not gonna be all caps like the other one, but this one's fucking awesome. I love Luftrauser. I need to play Luftrausers at some point because I've only played a tiny bit of that. I need to like stream it. But it's like a dogfighting game by Vlambeer that's just fun. I think I remember it having pretty good music. Amazing, fluid, flowing gameplay that makes you feel like a badass. It's all about just flying through the air, dodging bullets, hitting the enemy with your bullets. Simple yet effective. That's the way I like them. They're great. Just a fun fucking game to play. Then we have the V prototypes. So there are 3 different versions of this. Terry Kavanagh being the fucking philanthropist that he is. He actually reached out to Flashpoint and was like, here, you can not only have the normal demo for V, which I'm just going to say godlike because V is a godlike game and this is just a chunk of the game. But he was like, you can also have the early prototype build and the first day prototype, which these are not terribly fun to play, neither of these, but I will say they are fascinating to play if you're like a big fan of V or a big Terry Kavanagh fan, because you can see the design process that he went through. And you can even see, I'm pretty sure there's a thing in the first day prototype that started off as an error, where you fall infinitely through space, which I'm pretty sure in the end became the intended ending of the game in the final version, which is kind of neat. Look at this like spotty banana here, brown and yellow. But yeah, the like V is awesome, and the V demo is basically just 2 levels of the game. It's great. It's got great music. I mean, I'll have a full review of that on the other list when I do that. Because, oh, I hope you didn't think this was the last spreadsheet stream, my good fellas. Run 2, and Run 3. I don't know. They're all godlike. They're all good. They're all so fun. This was a series that I totally slept on when I was younger. And playing them now as an adult, they're so fucking fun. Even the original, even though it's a little more rudimentary compared to the other two are basically just taking the concept and expanding it and running with it in a really fun, compelling way, just at its most basic level, jumping around and sticking to the walls and changing gravity like that is just a blast. It's so fucking fun. I will definitely play more Run 3 eventually. Because even though I finished it, I got through the main game, I still haven't done a bunch of the bonus levels, and I really want to do those, because it's fun. The bonus levels in Run 3 get a little bullshit, like they get to the point where it's a little CBT, but the main game of all 3 of these are just godlike. Just godlike. Anyway, Bloons 2. I'm gonna say real game, yeah. It's better than Bloons 1 in terms of like the difficulty curve and like the bullshit, but it's still got just some kind of hokey design. This is one that lets you skip a certain number of levels as well. It's the same kind of rating as Bloons up above, actually. Real game, but come on. Some of those levels suck, and some of it's just kind of unfun. But it's just a little more polished version of Bloons 1, whatever. And this is not actually the original follow-up to Bloons either, because there was Bloons, there was more Bloons, there was even more Bloons, there was like extra Bloons or some shit like that, and then there was Bloons 2. So this was after several iterations of the game had already gone by. I think it was like the first new engine or whatever. There's a beb outside making loud noises. Did you know this? Sugar Sugar 2. Did I give real game to all the other ones? Yeah, real game, real game. I'm gonna say real game to all the Sugar Sugar games. My review of all of them is exactly the fucking same. They're kind of boring, but they're a good time killer. They're a nice, like, relaxing, slow-paced puzzle game with the exact same fucking song and basically the exact same graphics and mechanics. I don't know. I have never beaten one of them on stream because they take so long because you have to wait for all the fucking sand to fall. But they're basically fun. Steer Wheels 2. I'm just gonna say sure for this one. It's another nostalgia hit for me, just like the other Steer Wheels. In fact, let's just do this. The other Steer Wheels games, they are old, janky physics roll-around type platformers that are like vaguely compelling but pretty amateurish and pretty basic. And not terribly fun, but I got a kick out of them when I was younger, and they're basically functional physics platformer type games. Color Infection 2, this is another sure, it's very similar to Sugar Sugar. It's a very boring, slow-paced puzzle game. I think you can actually speed up the game though, which kind of helps. But there's no music, and the visual style is totally bland, and I'm pretty sure Color Infection 2 literally reuses levels from Color Infection 1, just verbatim. Or like with one tiny minor change that like doesn't really actually change anything significant. Which is kind of stupid. But whatever. Another nostalgia hit for me. Bullet Bill 3, Godlike. This is a weird one. It's just really good. It's where you play as a Bullet Bill flying through a Mario level that Mario could never actually platform through because there's tons of empty gaps where you can't jump. But you like run through blocks, hit enemies, get points. It's quite challenging. It's quite a difficult game, but it's actually really well made. It's got good music, cool like Mario remixes, kind of like Mario 63. You can unlock different characters. I unlocked a slower character that I basically used to just carry me through the whole game. Because going faster makes it so you like are more likely to run into shit. And then the final boss was just fucking insane. I like couldn't even come close to beating the final boss. It was just Bowser, and he was just fucking insanely difficult. It was so weird. And the rest of the bosses were no slouches either. They were pretty hard too, but like Bowser was, man, he was the next level. So I would say godlike until it gets up to that point, and then it gets pretty CBT, in my opinion. But for what it's worth, very polished, very cool. It was neat. Doorbell rang. My housemate will get it. Peanut Butter Jelly Time. This is an animation. It's kind of a classic, I don't know, old meme. This one goes on for a lot longer than you'd think. Like, not only does it go on to peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat, but then it's got like a whole nother, it's got like 10 more verses. It's really weird. You always just think peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat. Like those are the only two parts of it. No, it's like a fucking like 10-hour long rhapsody. Spider-Man Cheese Nips Hunt, I was kind of hoping this would be funny, but it just ended up being boring and bad. It was just a dull Spider-Man sponsored game about fucking cheese nips. It was like, Where's Waldo? Find weird items. Garfield Lasagna from Heaven, it could have been a meme game, but it's a basic Garfield game where you move him around and he eats stuff that's falling from the ceiling and you eat Odie. It's kind of funny, but it's very basic, not very fun. It goes very fast. I remember this game being like, whoa, it's this fast? But it was just kind of boring and easy. Now we got Fairly Odd Parents Power Surge. I'm going to give this one a sure. This one is like a half-decent platformer. And then Cyberspace Chase, no. Like, honestly, Power Surge is just on the cusp of being a sure or a no. But Power Surge and Cyberspace Chase are both nostalgia hits for me. Power Surge is like a little bit better because it's actually like a semi-fun platformer. They're both very basic and they're both fucking Fairly Odd Parents games. There's really not much else to say about them. They have kind of a neat style. They've got that like weird early 2000s, this is what we think abstractions of computers are like type vibe to it, which is kind of fun. Then we got, okay, big row of Box of Chocolates animations. I think Unlike the Rest.com is the Sweating Watermelon. I don't even remember what the rest of these are. Freedom from Fear and Worry. I don't know. I seem to remember these are all just sort of neat little mobile animation things that were not terribly... Oh, is.com. That were not terribly memorable compared to some of the other ones. And there's other ones that I want to show on here, but I can't get them to capture properly, honestly. Otherwise, I would have just, that whole stream would have been showing those off. But yeah, animation just means there's no interactivity, and there's some games that are listed here as games when really it's like they're barely interactive, like Sudden Problem. Slow Saitama was an animation. But Doodle God, I'm just gonna give this one real game. It's cool. You take elements and combine them together, and you start out with just very basic elements, and you end up with lots of different like complicated elements and all these, like you get like human society and cars and people and buildings and skyscrapers and stuff when you started out just banging rocks together. It's pretty cool. It's kind of rough around the edges. A lot of the associations or a lot of the combinations don't really make sense. There's a lot of sort of just trial and error, mostly error, where you just combine things and nothing happens. I would like it more if there was a little more of a logic to it, so that kind of holds it back from being godlike. Yes, Line Rider is on here. It got godlike, I'm pretty sure. But Doodle God, for what it's worth, it's fun. It's like a fun little time killer. It's neat. It's good for a laugh. I liked when I combined stone with life and it made egg. There's some funny moments like that. And now the Flappy Bird special, fucking like the one of the final bosses of this stream, is reviewing 22 different Flappy Bird games. So I think we're gonna just to set the precedent. I think Flappy Bird is basically fine. It's like I'm gonna say Flappy Bird is real game status, and Flash Flappy Bird is just a port basically. It's just a simple arcade game. I remember back when like the big craze was happening, I had Flappy Bird on my phone. I think I still do actually, which technically means that my phone is worth money. It's the only money you could ever get for my phone. But yeah, it's just a fun little arcade game where you go through and jump through the fucking Mario pipes. I don't know, there's not much else to say about it. Very simple yet effective. It could have been iterated on, and I guess it is in these Flash games, but the main game really never changed to be anything but that. Just jumping through pipes. Flappy Bolt, I'm gonna say this is a real game too. I still don't know if it's made by the same person who made Cannibalt. I think it is. But it's basically Flappy Bird, but mixed up and stylized around Cannibalt, which is the Infinite Runner game. It's pretty fun. It's a nice little remix of the concept. Same with Maverick Bird, which is the Terry Kavanagh version. These are all pretty decent. Then we get to Flappy U. I guess Maverick Bird, I should say. He doesn't take the style of Flappy Bird, he kind of put it in his own like pixel style, and the music is pretty obnoxious in Maverick Bird, and he also gave you like a move down move, which is how you sort of iterate on the design concept, and that's kind of fun. It's not the most fun game, and the music kind of kills it for me, honestly. Flappy U. This is the one that's supposed to be first-person Flappy Bird. This is like meme game, I guess, but oh my god, it was not fun to play at all. It was jank looking first person Flappy Bird, and it was really kind of broken. It wasn't very well made. Flappy Mouse, also a meme game. This one was kind of fun. It was kind of like slow, lethargic Flappy Bird, and you play as a mouse in a spreadsheet, actually. It's a spreadsheet game. And I thought it was a really neat detail that wherever you click, you like click start, and wherever you click, the mouse cursor like starts where you clicked from. you know? So it looks like you just click and then your mouse just goes, ew, okay, now we're playing Flappy Bird, you know? Which I thought was a neat detail. They didn't have to do that, but they did put the effort in. Flappy Dragon Bird thing. I'm pretty sure this is just somebody downloaded the .fla file for Flash Flappy Bird and then just put their own skin, or their own skins, their own assets into it, which is something I did when I was younger too. Just fucking around. Like I downloaded the Miss Pac-Man game and put my own assets in. So no, this is just like somebody's personal creation. I'm pretty sure it's just Flappy Bird, but with a weird little scribble drawing. It's not terribly funny. It's just the same game. Flappy Gravity Falls. This one, I'm gonna say meme. It's just, there's this whole like streak here. Flappy Minion, Flappy Ponies, where these are all meme games. Where it's a combination of Flappy Bird and something else. I mean, Gravity Falls isn't really a meme, but it's just something sort of inexplicable where it's like, this isn't even connected, but there's a Flappy Bird version of it. Sure. Fucking sure. And for the record, Flappy Minion probably played the best out of any of these. Except these ones at the top, I guess. But like out of all the shitty Flappy Bird clones, Flappy Minion was one of the smoother controlling ones. It was also one of the easier ones. It made it a lot easier. Flappy Bird Pro. I think, wasn't this one just... No, that was Happy Bird. What is Flappy Bird Pro? Oh, God. Oh, right. Yeah, this was another one that was just like... It was somebody's like shitty mock-up of it. This was the one that when you die it says reality starts here, and that was the only exciting thing about it. No. This gets a no from me. Flappy Turd, that's another meme. It's Flappy Bird with poops, guys. Fallopian Bird gets a no. It would be a meme game, but it's like fucking impossible. It's so difficult. You go so fast and your jumps are so shitty. It's like you can't react to it, basically, because it's so fast. Or at least I couldn't. But you play as a sperm and you're going through fallopian tubes rather than warp pipes, basically. You're going between them. Then Pinchy Bird. Oh, God. See, this was like semi-recent and I don't even remember some of these. Pinchy. Oh, right. This one was like, for what it's worth, it was semi-good. This one was, I think somebody said it was like based around a, like a YouTuber or something, or like it was like some Spanish YouTuber or something. For what it's worth, it was fine. I'm gonna say real game just on the status of being a decent Flappy Bird clone. And then Happy Bird, same deal. This is just a popular alternative, because infamously Flappy Bird got taken down after the creator had second thoughts. He was like, this is too much power, or whatever. And so it took it down from the store, and then a bunch of just clones appeared, and Happy Bird was one of the most popular ones. Made in Unity. It's the same fucking game. Flocculus Bird. Keep having to look these up. I remember Drunky Bird. What was Flocculus? What the hell? Oh, this was the other first person one. This one was honestly better. Oh, God. This one was better than Flappy U. In fact, I'm gonna give this one meme game status, and Flappy U is gonna go to a no. Because this is just straight up a better version of the concept of first-person Flappy Bird. I remember the sound effects being really loud. Otherwise, it was fine. I don't know. It's just a little more playable than Flappy U. Drunky Bird. This is a sure. Kind of boring. It's like Flappy Bird, but instead of controlling the bird just flies in a straight line, and the warp pipes you get to move up and down. It was like a fun little concept, but it really wasn't as fun as the original. This one didn't even work, so I would not suggest the broken, non-functional version of this. However, I know from past experience that MLG Flappy Bird 420, the whole concept is every time you get a point, it adds like the Flappy Bird's now smoking a joint, or now wearing a fedora, or now there's like a rainbow filter over the screen, or whatever, and it would just get more and more distracting as you played. So if it worked, this would be meme game. In its broken state, no, of course. Uh, which, why would I even say that? If I know how the game actually works, I'm just gonna go meme. Fuck it. Hold on. There you go. To clarify, alive Freddie Mercury. Now we have Flappy Nyan Cat. This one is another sure. It wasn't even really that funny, and it didn't play terribly well. Flappy Daruma, this one, no. This was sort of similar to Flappy Dragon Bird thing, where it was just somebody's like shitty rendition of it. I think it was kind of funny because the pipes were flesh colored. That was about it. Flappy Flock, real game. This was a Pico game. And it was actually kind of like Badlands, where you like get a flock of little birds, and it makes it more difficult to avoid the obstacles. I was like, all right, you know what? That's cool. That's a neat idea. Flappy Bird within Flappy Bird is a meme game. It's basically impossible. I challenge anyone to like get a good high score in Flappy Bird within Flappy Bird. It's so difficult and disorienting, but the whole concept is the Flappy Bird is replaced by a unique, separately functioning game of Flappy Bird, and you need to play both of them at the same time. Like fucking huh? But it's a neat idea. It's very extreme. I think it could have been done maybe a little bit better. And then Flappy Bird for Dinner, meme game. This is another one of those cooking games where there are like a trillion of them, and they're all made for like infants. And this is supposed to be like baby humor of like, tee-hee, the thing I don't, Justin Bieber got punched. You know, it's like that kind of humor where you're cooking Flappy Bird. It's a nothing game. There's no gameplay basically, but it's kind of funny. It like in an ironic sense. Frusian Breakfast Brawl. I'm gonna say this is a real game. It's like a Punch-Out ripoff. That's an advertisement for a fruit smoothie that's supposed to be a breakfast substitute, and it works basically fine. It was basically fun. Like as a Punch-Out fan, I was like, you know what? This is not bad. It's kind of jank, and you have to like punch in like a weird rhythm to actually be able to get like consecutive hits off. And it's got slightly different rules. Like it doesn't have star punch it has like Frusian punch or some shit like that, which is kind of neat. Zallard1 actually speed ran this game, which is kind of funny. I think he has the world record on it. It's cute and unique, and it had kind of funny. It had sort of a funny tone to it, especially for a commercial game. It was like surprisingly anarchic feeling. Okay, we're so close. I got through Flappy Bird week. Oh god. Vuvu Hero. This is a bad game. It would be funny, but it's got this very like I'm a YouTuber kind of like humor to it. It's got Aaron Hansen's grubby little fingerprints all over it, and it's just kind of very dated, not funny humor. And the game itself is not terribly fun, even though it's very detailed. You can play a bunch of different Vazuzu or whatever songs or Vuvuzela songs, but it's just, I mean, like 1 minute of gameplay and 20 minutes of gameplay are exactly the same amount of enjoyment. So I don't know why they gave it so much content, honestly. It's weirdly misplaced. You know what? Actually, I'll give it meme status, because it is like the concept overall of like a Guitar Hero game with a Vazuzu or whatever. It's kind of funny. It's just execution-wise, it's not actually that funny. Epic Coaster. This is a fun little infinite runner game. It's kind of like Cannibalt. Not much to say about it. It had 1 million achievements. It's one of those games where when you first like take a step in the game, you get like 10 achievements. But it wasn't really as extreme as games like Achievement Unlocked, so it just kind of has that feature for no reason. But it's basically fun. It looks good. It's got neat music, and is basically fun to play. This week was all one button games, so it was the kind of game that you can just play with spacebar, you know? Dirty Tuber. No, that was Fallopian Bird. Anyway, One Button Bob and One Button Arthur are very, very similar. They're both part of the same series. And they both get a sure from me, honestly. Like, they're a neat concept. It's like you go through these different levels, and you only get one button per room, and the button always does something different. I guess they reuse concepts in a few different rooms. Overall, the execution was very sloppy. I remember it being kind of glitchy and frustrating at some parts. But overall, it was a neat, cute little concept that, these are the sort of like short and sweet type games where you just play it through, beat it once, takes like 10 minutes, and you never think about it again, you know? But it was cute. I feel like more could have been done with the concept, though. Helicopter Game and Helicopter Game 2 are also sure. They're basically, I don't want to say this, but they're basically subpar Flappy Bird. Like, I know it's the original, and many, many, many games have been influenced by these two games, but going back and playing them now, especially, there's no fucking difference between the two. They're hardly different at all. Neither of them have music. They both have the same fucking sound effect that plays the whole time. They both have shitty graphics that look the same. I don't even know what the difference is between the two. They're just not terribly fun. I don't know. It's like, again, it's like those old arcade games. Like, it's like fucking Pong or whatever. Where it's like, yeah, whatever. I don't know. Are you really gonna play much of it today, though, these days? Mario Helicopter, I said I wasn't even gonna put this on the list, and I ended up putting it on the list. I played like 2 seconds of it. No, it's a shitty Mario game where you move around in a helicopter. I played like 10 seconds of it, and I was like, nope, it uses multiple buttons. And then Save Shrek is also no. It's one of those animations where it's just click the button a bunch of times and go through the list of different scenes that this person made the button go to. It wasn't even funny. It was like, click 100 times to save Shrek. Okay, you saved Shrek. Congratulations. Which is not even funny. And then finally, Dino Run. I'm going to say this is a real game. A lot of people were lamenting... Oh, excuse the hell out of me. A lot of people were lamenting that I did not play any more of this game. Last week, they were like, oh, you should have played more of it. I don't know if I ever will. I might at some point. But it seemed cute. It's definitely well animated. The gameplay is definitely fun. There's lots of like nice detail. It plays smoothly. It's polished. It's just that at a certain point, it just felt kind of boring. It was just getting kind of boring to me. I don't know if it has like a turning point or anything. But it was so-so, but the polish and the cuteness and the uniqueness of it really does sell it as a real game. And folks, that's it. That's all the Flash games that I've played up until this point. It's like, should I play a Flash game? I'll tell you what, guys. To finish it off, I'm going to play a very highly requested game. Alright? You guys are going to be real happy about this. Avoiding Angry Birds. So that we can review this game and put it on the list and have something to put on the list for this week, too. Alright, let's go. Let's fucking go. I'm playing Avoiding Angry Birds. I need my headphones. Where are my headphones? Alright, here we go. I'm avoiding him. I'm doing it. I'm going nuts. There's no music, of course. Oh, they're getting faster. I'm a god at this game, man. Oh! The red one, the big red one is the major danger. Huh? Oh, what? I didn't even hit him! I didn't even touch it! Refresh to play it again? You're fucking joking. I'm gonna hit rewind. Oh! So this person didn't even make a way to restart the game in the window. They made it so you have to refresh the window or hit right-click rewind. God, look how fast. Oh, God. Does it, like, save how fast they're going? I think this guy, like, increases in speed. Okay, it's broken. It's broken. The hitboxes suck. The hitboxes suck. I feel like they just keep increasing in speed. And it doesn't reset when I rewind. Maybe I'm wrong on that? I mean, I am unnaturally forcing it to rewind. Okay, I'm done. It's not supposed to go back, so I guess that's not really a fault of the game. All right, well, that was avoiding Angry Birds. Anything hidden off to the side? It's always kind of fun to see. No. Very, very sad. Okay, well, folks, that was avoiding Angry Birds. Now I'm going to rate it. All right, are you ready? Where is it? It's shit! No, but that's it. That is it for all the Flash games. I have now reviewed them all. This is gonna get the special poop red-brown. The other one got, too. So let's look back through. Not a ton of godlike games, but I'm just gonna read off all the best Flash games, alright? So these are the Flash games that, if you're going to play Flash games, I would suggest these the most above all else. Bloons Tower Defense 5, Windowsill, Frog Fractions, Wonder Putt, Avalanche, The Binding of Isaac, the original, Learn to Fly 2, Indestructo Tank 3, Samorost, Samorost 2, although that's just a demo, the full version exists on Steam, kind of like Windowsill, Exit Path, Line Rider, Aether, Time Fuck, Super Mario Crossover 2, Spider-Man City Raid, Yellow, Snailiad, Bloody Rage 2. That's not right. Mutiny. I was like, that's definitely not Bloody Rage 2. No, Mutiny. And then a big streak of no godlike games. Powder Game 2, Madness Accelerant, right? Hexagon, Luftrauser, VVVVVV, Run 2, Run 3, Bullet Bill 3, and that's it. Those are the godlike games. I would say personally, Run 3 might be my favorite out of all the Flash games that I've played so far. But it's close. Hexagon is also a close contender. I would say Powder Game is also a close contender, or Avalanche, maybe. But yeah, so I guess I'll be posting this list in the description of the video. Of the VOD, rather. And I will probably be doing... What is this? Wait. Oh, never mind. I thought I saw like an errant stripe of color. I'll be posting this if you want to use this as a reference for like what are some actual legit games versus what are some meme silly games to goof around with, which ones to be avoided, and which ones are godlike. I hope this can be a good resource for people on that. I will probably be doing at least one more stream of this with Flash games, just because eventually I will play enough Flash games to fill a whole stream with reviewing them again. So... yeah, I know this has not been the most popular thing. What do we got? Like 136 viewers right now. But thank you for indulging me on this. I enjoy doing this. There's some like OCD part of my brain that just loves like categorizing shit like this. And just talking about it too. I feel like a lot of Flash games, nobody's ever going to talk about them again. So it's like, I might as well. Well, I will update the main Flash list with at least adding the Impossible Quiz, if not other corrections, maybe. I don't know. But yeah. So I hope you enjoyed. There will be, of course, more games this week, more reviews. Andrew and I will be streaming the rest of Bloodborne. My hand is feeling a little bit better. And we're not going to go too hard. I think if it starts hurting again, I'm just going to make Andrew beat Bloodborne for me, if worst comes to worst. And we'll be getting an FTL finale soon, too. So look forward to that. Next week, I might do Run 3 some more. I might do Hoshi Saga. I might just do random shit. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how my hand's feeling. If my hand's not feeling too good, I'll probably do Hoshi Saga. Or Breaks Out, maybe. Or something else. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy. Bye-bye.